My fiancée called off our wedding a month prior, saying she couldn't settle. I canceled the venue, sold the ring, and took a solo honeymoon. I returned to find her fling had dumped her, and she was having a mental breakdown. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think I was one of the lucky ones. Met the right woman young, built a life together, made plans that actually seemed to stick. Lena and I had been together since college. 8 years of growing up together, moving from ramen dinners in a studio apartment to choosing china patterns for our wedding registry. We were supposed to get married in a month. Everything was set. The venue, the guest list, the honeymoon in Italy. My parents had paid the deposit on the catering. Her mom was already talking about flower arrangements. From the outside, it looked perfect. But from the inside, something had changed. I couldn't tell when exactly. Maybe it was after her promotion, or maybe after that bachelorette trip her friends insisted on. Either way, the laughter that used to come so easily from her started feeling forced. At first, I thought it was stress. Weddings make people tense, right? I kept telling myself she'd snap out of it once the big day got closer. Instead, she got quieter. Shorter texts, late nights at work, fewer I love yous, and more of those vague, heavy comments that don't sound like much until you realize they're exits disguised as introspection. One night, about a month before the wedding, we went out to dinner, the kind of place where we used to celebrate milestones. She spent most of it scrolling through her phone. When I asked if everything was okay, she sighed and said, almost to herself, I just feel trapped. Like everyone expects me to be this version of myself that I'm not sure I even like. I tried to lighten the mood. If you're talking about the wedding planning, you can fire me as project manager anytime. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. It's not that, Ethan. You're amazing. You've always been amazing. I just feel like I'm settling. And that scares me. That word, settling, hit harder than I wanted it to. It hung between us like smoke. I didn't argue, didn't beg her to take it back. I just asked, what exactly are you settling for? She looked down at her water glass, twisting the condensation ring with her thumb. I don't know. Maybe for comfort. Maybe for safety. Maybe I need to know what else is out there before I say forever. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, but I kept my voice steady. Then I guess you need to figure that out. Her relief at my calmness was almost insulting. She nodded like she'd expected a fight and didn't know what to do without one. The rest of dinner was small talk, meaningless chatter that tried to fill the space where our future used to be. When we got home, she showered and went straight to bed without touching me. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, realizing I was engaged to someone already halfway out the door. Over the next week, she got more distant. Her friends, the same ones who used to gush about how lucky she was, started posting those thinly veiled quotes on social media. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. A woman's intuition knows when it's time to evolve. I didn't need intuition to know what was happening. Every time she smiled at me after that, it looked like goodbye. A week later, she asked if we could meet to talk. Her tone was polite, clipped, like she was scheduling a business meeting, not ending a life we built for almost a decade. We met at a small cafe we used to love. I showed up early, out of habit. She arrived 15 minutes late, out of new priorities. She looked like she'd dressed for a magazine cover. Soft waves in her hair, perfect makeup, a white blazer that screamed control. It was all performance. She sat down, exhaled dramatically, and said, Ethan, I've been doing a lot of thinking. That was the line. The one people use right before they detonate your world. I don't think I can go through with the wedding, she said. Just like that. No tremble, no hesitation. Her hands didn't even shake as she stirred her coffee. It was like she'd rehearsed it in front of a mirror. Why? I asked, not angry, not desperate, just needing to hear it from her lips. She gave me the same look people give a confused child. Because it's not fair to you. Or to me. I need to know what else is out there before I make a promise I might regret. I swallowed hard. So, you're calling off the wedding. I am, she said softly. I still love you, Ethan, but love isn't everything. I can't be the woman who settles because she's scared to start over. The word again, settle. As if I was some comfortable couch she'd outgrown. I took a breath. You're not scared to start over, I said finally. You're excited to. There's a difference. That caught her off guard. Her expression faltered. but only for a second before she regrouped into faux maturity. "This isn't about anyone else," she said quickly. "I just need space to find myself." A lie, and both of us knew it. I nodded slowly. "Then I won't stand in your way." She blinked. "That's it. You're just okay with this." "I'm not okay with it," I said, "but I'm not going to beg you to stay." She leaned back, exhaling like she'd passed some kind of moral test. "I didn't want this to get ugly." "You don't need to worry about that," I said. "You already made it ugly enough." For a brief second, her composure cracked. Her mouth twitched like she might cry, but pride won. "I'm sorry if you're hurt," she said, tone flat, rehearsed. I stood up. "You're not sorry. You're relieved. Enjoy your freedom." She didn't follow me when I walked out, but I felt her eyes on my back the whole way to the door. Later that night, I found out through a mutual friend that she'd already been spending time with a coworker, Ryan. The same guy she used to say was like a brother. They'd been texting for months, apparently. I didn't even confront her. What was the point? She'd already rewritten the story in her head to make herself the victim of her own choices. Instead, I started making calls. Venue, canceled. Caterer, canceled. Photographer, canceled. I didn't just delete her from my future. I deleted the version of me who'd built that future for her. When I called the jeweler about returning the engagement ring, he asked, "Cold feet?" I said no. She wanted to fly barefoot. He chuckled awkwardly, not sure what to say, and I realized I didn't care who understood. By the end of the week, every trace of the wedding was gone. The invitations, the deposits, the whiteboard calendar with our day written in red marker. I wiped it clean. She never asked if I'd canceled anything. She was too busy posting pictures of sunsets with captions like, "New beginnings feel like breathing again." Good for her. I hope she enjoyed the view while it lasted. When I woke up the next morning, my first thought wasn't about her. It was about silence. The kind that hangs in the air when all the noise finally dies. For months, my life had revolved around her wedding Pinterest boards, dress fittings, venue negotiations, and her endless lists of must-haves. It felt strange not to have my day dictated by her agenda. So, I decided to start reclaiming things. One by one, the first call I made was to the venue. The manager sounded almost sympathetic when I told him we were canceling. "Do you want to reschedule for another date?" he asked gently. "No," I said. "Cancel it entirely." She called it off. They refunded a portion of the deposit. I didn't even care about the money. I just wanted it gone. The second call was to the jeweler. The man hesitated when I explained that I wanted to sell back the engagement ring. "It's a stunning piece," he said. "Not to me anymore," I replied. By noon, both were handled. By evening, I was staring at my laptop, scrolling through vacation packages. Something spontaneous, somewhere I'd never planned to go. Thailand caught my eye. It was supposed to be our honeymoon destination, but she said she wanted something more adventurous when we were planning. Well, I figured this was my chance to have an adventure alone. So, I booked the ticket. I left 2 days later with a backpack and no itinerary. I didn't even tell anyone at first, not even my parents. I just texted my best friend, "Taking the honeymoon. Solo. Don't worry about me." The flight felt surreal, like I was watching someone else's life from the outside. But when I landed in Phuket and stepped into the heavy, humid air, something shifted. It was the first breath that didn't taste like regret. I swam. I hiked. I ate street food that set my mouth on fire. I talked to strangers, laughed with locals, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about how every moment would look on social media or whether she'd approve. One night, I sat on the beach with a beer and thought about everything that had happened. About how easily she threw away years of commitment because she couldn't settle. I realized something. She wasn't running towards something better. She was running from herself. From the idea of stability, of contentment, of real effort. And I wasn't going to chase her anymore. By the end of that trip, I wasn't healing. I wasn't discovering myself. Those sound like cliches people post with sunset photos. I was simply existing, finally, without her shadow. When I boarded the return flight home, I didn't expect anything dramatic waiting for me. I just felt done, peacefully done. But what was waiting for me back home wasn't peace. It was chaos, hers, not mine. The flight home was calm, too calm. I scrolled through old photos on my phone, deleting them one by one. Every sunset selfie, every dinner pose, Every fake smile where I thought we were building something real. By the time the plane touched down, my camera roll looked like it belonged to a stranger. I expected nothing when I got home. Just the same apartment, the same quiet, and maybe a few awkward texts from mutual friends still pretending to check in. What I didn't expect was to open my phone to a flood of unread messages. From her. They started polite. "Hey, can we talk?" Then slipped into desperate. "Please, I just need to explain." I ignored them all. Whatever she needed to explain was none of my business anymore. But then one message caught my attention. It wasn't from her. It was from her best friend, Leah. "You probably don't care, but you should know she's not doing great. That guy she left you for? He dumped her. She's been having panic attacks and calling your mom. Maybe check on her." I stared at the message, unreadable. For months, I had replayed that breakup speech, her voice trembling not with guilt but with excitement, like she was announcing a promotion. "I just can't settle. I need to feel alive again," she'd said. Apparently, that feeling didn't last long. Out of morbid curiosity, I checked her social media. She'd gone private, but her profile picture told me enough. Gone was the confident, glowing version of her with the beach tan and champagne glass. The new photo was dim, grainy, like someone trying to smile through exhaustion. Then I saw it. The guy. Her fling. He'd deleted every photo with her. Every trace. His page was full of new adventures, solo ones. He'd moved on faster than she thought I would. It was poetic, really. She left me because she couldn't settle, but it turned out he couldn't either. That night, I unpacked my bag, opened a beer, and turned off my phone. No closure, no conversation, no emotional cleanup. I was done being her safe place to land when her freedom didn't feel so freeing. A few days later, Leah texted again. "She's asking about you nonstop. Says she made a mistake. She's not herself." That line stuck with me. Not herself. She'd always been herself. Impulsive, restless, selfish. But now, for the first time, she had to face it without an audience to validate her choices. And apparently, that was breaking her. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Some lessons can't be learned through explanations or apologies. Some people have to collapse under the weight of their own decisions before they understand what they destroyed. While she was unraveling, I started putting things together, literally. I got back into work, took up photography again, reconnected with old friends she'd pushed away because she didn't vibe with their energy. Life started expanding where she had once shrunk it. The universe has a funny sense of timing. I didn't need revenge. Watching her crumble under the freedom she demanded was enough. But I didn't know yet. Her collapse was only beginning. And soon, she wouldn't just be heartbroken. She'd be desperate. It started subtly. A few mutual friends reaching out, awkwardly testing the waters. "Hey man," I ran into her at the coffee shop. She didn't look great. "She asked about you." Then came the texts. Not from her directly. She knew I wasn't answering, but through other people. My mom. My sister. Even my landlord. Apparently, she'd shown up at my old apartment, crying on the doorstep, claiming she just wanted to talk. My landlord said she looked destroyed. Puffy eyes, messy hair, wearing one of my old hoodies. I hadn't seen her like that since, ever, actually. She was always obsessed with control, her appearance, her tone, her social image. The idea that she'd let all that go? It was almost unbelievable. Then came the message that confirmed everything. My mom called one evening. "She's been calling the house phone," she said carefully. "She told me she made a mistake. That she thought she wanted excitement, but realized she wanted stability. You." I didn't say anything. Just listened. "She's not well," my mom added. "Apparently, the guy she left you for moved on fast. Told her she was too clingy. She's been having panic attacks. Can't sleep. Says she lost her job." I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. It was surreal. The same woman who'd told me she refused to live a predictable life now couldn't handle the fallout of her own unpredictability. "Don't get involved," I told my mom quietly. She made her choice. But it didn't stop there. A few nights later, I came home from work and saw her sitting in her car outside my new apartment. Engine off, headlights dim, just there. She didn't get out when she saw me. She just rolled down the window and said, "Can we talk?" I walked up, calm but cold. "There's nothing left to talk about," I said. She looked wrecked. Not the dramatic, mascara-running kind, the hollow, sleepless kind. "I messed up," she whispered. He didn't care about me. I thought I wanted freedom, but I just wanted to feel something different. I I can't eat. I can't. I cut her off. That's not my problem anymore. She flinched like I'd hit her. I know. I know. I just thought maybe. No, I said flatly. You thought wrong. There was no anger left in me. Just clarity. She wanted comfort, not reconciliation. She wanted to rewrite the ending so she didn't look like the villain. But I wasn't interested in her redemption arc. I turned and walked away while she was still crying in the car. She didn't follow me this time. That night, I realized something. Her breakdown wasn't just heartbreak. It was the collapse of her identity. She'd built her self-worth on being desired, and now, neither of us desired her. And for once, I didn't feel sorry. I just felt free. It had been nearly a year since that night. I'd moved into a bigger apartment, started a new job, got back into running. I even started dating someone, Emma, a woman who didn't treat love like a competition or a career step. She laughed easily, listened more than she spoke, and never made me feel like I had to earn her affection. Life had grown quiet, in the best way. Then one Saturday afternoon, I ran into her. It was at a friend's engagement party, one of those mutual circles we hadn't both attended since the breakup. I hadn't even known she'd be there until I heard that voice, the same one that once said, "I can't settle." Now it was softer, strained, almost timid. "Hey, you look good." I turned. She was standing near the bar, holding a half-empty glass of white wine. She looked nothing like the woman who had once lectured me about not living fully. Her spark was gone. Her confidence, that air of superiority, had cracked. Even her posture seemed uncertain, as if she expected rejection before it came. I nodded politely. "Thanks. You too." It was a lie, but a harmless one. She gave a small, forced laugh. "You probably hate me." "I don't," I said. "You don't matter enough for that." She blinked, startled. "That's cold." "No," I said calmly. "It's just done." There was a silence that stretched between us. Awkward, heavy. Then she said what I knew was coming. I was stupid. I thought I was making the right choice. I thought I'd find something more exciting, you know? But it was all fake. He just wanted attention. He didn't care. Nobody has, since. I let her words hang there. She wanted me to fill the silence, to give her some reassurance that she wasn't the villain she knew she was. But I wasn't playing therapist anymore. Finally, she asked the question. "Are you seeing someone?" "Yes," I said simply. "She's amazing." She looked down, biting her lip. "I'm happy for you," she said, though her voice cracked on the word happy. "I believe you," I said, turning to go. "Take care of yourself." "Wait," she called after me. "Do you ever think about us?" I stopped but didn't turn around. "No," I said quietly. "Not anymore." And I walked away. As I joined Emma on the other side of the room, she smiled and handed me a drink. She didn't ask who that woman was. She didn't need to. The difference between them was obvious. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my ex watching us. Not angrily, not even sadly, just realizing she'd thrown away something real for the illusion of something better. And now, she wasn't the free spirit she claimed to be. She was just lost. Later that night, Emma and I walked home hand in hand. The air was cool, the city quiet. For the first time in a long time, I felt completely at peace. No anger, no regret, just the quiet satisfaction of knowing I didn't need to win. I'd already won by walking away. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.